I'm Dan Coten. I'm this year's president of the Chicago Bar Association, and welcome to the latest in our series of Someone You Should Know events. Today, our guest is Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson, and based upon the number of people that are here, I think it's clear that our membership has a real interest in meeting the superintendent, hearing what he has to say, and maybe asking a couple questions.
I've been a cop for 28 years. It takes a whole lot to give me that tingling sensation, but a room full of lawyers will do it. Thank you all for inviting me to speak to you all here today. I want to start out by extending my thanks to you all for everything that you do to help make Chicago safer.
Now we're going to move into a segment here where I hope, folks have some questions to ask you. But because I have the microphone, I get to ask the first question. First of all, I can tell everybody that in the little bit of time that I've gotten to know Superintendent Johnson, it's clear that you as an individual genuinely care about this problem. You're not hiding from the problem, you're recognizing it, and you individually truly want to engage in conversation and seek a solution, and that's something that we really appreciate. Chicago is the third largest city in our country. New York and Los Angeles have bigger populations. I imagine they're about as diverse as Chicago is as well. But their gun violence is just a fraction of what our cities is. Why is that, and can we learn from the other two big cities?
Yeah, I think we absolutely can learn from them. So listen, the violence problem is complex. There's not one simple solution to it. The long-term solutions are the economic support of these impoverished neighborhoods, better education, better health care, better parenting, better mentoring. All of that stuff matters. That's long-term. When I go into these communities and I go into a house of a mother who's just lost a child, she don't want to hear about that. She does not want to hear about us creating jobs, educating these. They don't want to hear that. What they ask me is, okay, Superintendent, this guy killed my son. What are you going to do about it right now?
Thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to address the lawyers in the room today. So I guess I have a two-part question, and I kind of want to move away from murders and gun violence. Obviously, murders and gun violence are not the only kind of violence that occur in Chicago. So how do you balance the spotlight in trying to prevent all of the different kinds of violence? And then the second part to my question is, how do you balance trying to prevent the crime with engaging with various communities?
You know, the crime fight and engaging with communities, it's a tricky balance, man, because you have to be mindful of people's civil rights. But what I can tell you all is this: our communities that's most affected by this violence, they never say to me, Superintendent, we don't want the police here. That's just factually incorrect. They don't say that. What they say is, we want the police, we just want them to be respectful, professional, and treat us fairly. There's a lot of good people in these communities being affected that don't like what these gang members are doing. And let me tell you all this. It used to be 10 and 20 years ago that we knew absolutely what gang members were fighting about, and it would usually be one or two things: either drug sales or that turf, right? That's what it was 10 or 20 years ago. We did too good of a job of eradicating the heads of these gangs, so now they're splintered, especially the African-American gangs. They don't fight over that stuff as much anymore. You know what a lot of this stuff is? It's social media beefs. It's driven by social media. You saw my girlfriend, you looked at her the wrong way. I get on Instagram and dish you. Disrespect, personal disrespect, not between the gangs, but between people that are in gangs or gang affiliated. That's what drives most of the beefs now. And that's why it's so difficult to put your arms around it. So all that stuff is important. It all matters. There's no quick fix, but we can do it.
Thank you so much for all you're doing. Thank you for what you're trying to do. We've got about 9 minutes left before 1 o'clock, and so I have a feeling that some of these folks would like to come up and shake your hand, maybe take a picture. Thank you very much.